Hello, Saiko. Guess who's back? That's right, the Terminator is back, and this time in glorious 2D. Let's join Sarah and John Connor in the fight to stop the robot uprising by reviewing Terminator 2D No Fate. Terminator 2D No Fate is a sprite-based retelling of the classic movie Terminator 2.
Come with me if you want to live.
It follows the plotline of the movie pretty closely, but they do take artistic liberty with some of the levels in order to increase the action. And for the most part, all your favorite scenes in the movie are represented in 2D glory. Though the game doesn't stray very far from the movie's plot, there are a couple of forks in the road where things can diverge pretty substantially. But those choices are blocked off until you beat the game at least once, which I think is a great way to promote multiple playthroughs. Furthermore, each alternate storyline you complete unlocks new gameplay modes, and I'm always a fan of games that reward achievements with even more gameplay. Terminator 2D No Fate is a 2D side-scrolling action shoot-'em-up. It plays similarly to retro action games of the past like Gunstar Heroes. You mostly play as Sarah Connor, but there are some levels where you'll play as a young or old John Connor. You can shoot in multiple directions but only at predefined angles, so you do have to position yourself appropriately to hit baddies all around the screen. The gunplay for the most part feels good, but I was a little disappointed at the lack of weapon options. In the present timeline, you're equipped with a basic pistol, although there are machine guns hidden in a few stages for some rapid fire gunplay. But truth be told, I didn't even realize there were hidden machine guns during my multiple playthroughs. I only found out when I stumbled upon an online guide while researching the game afterwards. In the future timeline, you're equipped with an energy gun that can be upgraded for short bursts of time with different ammo types. The different ammo types are fun to use, but nothing particularly unique. I definitely feel there's a missed opportunity with the gun types. Both the present and future timelines would have benefited with more weapons to equip. While the majority of the gameplay is run and gun action, there are a few levels that break from that pattern. In one stage, you play as a young John Connor trying to outrun a truck driving T-1000 in his motorbike. In another level, you play as a fully nude T-800. Slugging it out with some bikers. There are only a handful of times you get to play as a T-800, which I found a little disappointing, but when you do get to play as him, he does feel appropriately powerful. When punching bad guys, the screen shakes as they get tossed around like rag dolls, and when shooting, you get to use his iconic Gatling gun. Overall, the action feels good and the gameplay is solid, but it's not necessarily revolutionary or earth-shattering. The game's visual style is reminiscent of games from the 16-bit era, although maybe with its color palette it's more of a 32-bit game. Either way, I appreciate it from a nostalgic point of view, but I wouldn't say the character designs nor the level designs are particularly great looking. Everything looks nice, everything fits the theme, but I feel they leaned into a realism that doesn't necessarily play great with the pixel art aesthetic. As it is, it does the job, but I feel they could have pushed the visual style further. The character animations are interesting because for the most part, they're done really well. The walk cycle is smooth and special animations like when Sarah Connor reloads her shotgun look great. But the backgrounds are often static with only 1 or 2 levels of depth. Rarely are there multiple background layers with parallax, and I don't recall ever seeing any foreground elements at all. If the environments had the same level of life that the characters did, I think the overall composition of the game would have been much improved. Terminator 2D No Fate isn't a bad looking game by any means, but I wouldn't say it looks amazing either. The graphics do their job, but they're not extraordinary like its film counterpart was when it first released. Terminator 2D No Fate is a fun game. It's a short adventure, but it does have some longevity because of the alternate story paths you can take. If you're a fan of the series as I am, you'll definitely be curious to see how those alternate decisions turn out. I won't spoil anything, but the different endings are actually pretty fun. Also, there's a handful of different modes to play if you want to go back for more action or challenge yourself to master the gameplay. There's no multiplayer, which is a shame. It would have been fun to play as Sarah and John Connor together, or even as Sarah, John, and the T-800 for some all-out balls-to-the-wall action. but I understand if the developer simply wanted to focus on a solo experience. I'm giving the game a 3.5 out of 5. It's a fun game, it handles the franchise well, I feel it's a game any Terminator fan would probably enjoy, but overall the gameplay and levels are a little basic. The boss fight patterns are simple to figure out, and the gameplay isn't all that innovative. I appreciate going for that old school feeling, but I do wish the developers had made an effort to evolve the traditional shoot 'em up gameplay to something more modern. Normally I'd suggest you gather your friends, order some pizza, and play the game together over an evening of fun. But because No Fate is a single player game, it might not be that easy. I guess you could rotate who plays each level, making your way through the game one player at a time. That could be fun. But if you like the Terminator franchise, or at least Terminator 2, and you like side-scrolling shoot-em-ups, you'll probably enjoy playing this game. And I bet once you see the alternate story options possible, you'll be curious to see how they play out and will want to immediately play again once you beat the game. At least that's how I felt. I read online that people are comparing Terminator 2D No Fate to Indiana Jones and the Great Circle because it's another example of a franchise done right by a game. And I agree. No Fate does the franchise justice just like Indiana Jones and the Great Circle did. However, the Great Circle was on another level of quality, and if those developers decided to make another Indiana Jones adventure, I would be happy to check it out. But I'm not sure I need another game in the Terminator 2D series, at least not unless the developers commit to evolving the gameplay and iterating over the design to elevate it to another level of goodness. But I do hope the trend of studios taking their IP licenses seriously does continue, and more quality games are made from the franchises we love. And if any developer is watching, if you're curious as to what IP you should look into for adapting to a game, may I suggest a long dormant IP that has it all: action, adventure, and dinosaurs.